Some time ago, these girls heard about the famous Indiana author, Gene Stratton Porter, the naturalist. Gene was a personal friend of mine, and oh how she loved the swamp and all its critters. The girls became intrigued and tried to uncover a hidden mystery that's never been solved. The disappearance of Jim Limber. The story has it that he went hunting and was now known as the Limberlost Swamp and was never heard from again. People from the town searched high and low to find him, but never did. It is like he just disappeared. Eventually, oil was discovered in Limberlost, and greedy people began destroying the natural wonder of the swamp to claim land for their share of the rich oil revenue, thinking there could be clues about Jim Limber's disappearance in Gene Stratton Porter's novel. The girls decided to read the book as they searched the swamp, the town, and the surrounding area for clues. They weren't aware of the dangers that still lurk in the deep, dark swamp.
A Girl of the Limberlost is a novel by Gene Stratton Porter and was published in August 1909. The story takes place in Indiana near the Limberlost Swamp and in the nearby fictional town of Onabasha. The novel's main character, Elnora Comstock, is an impoverished young woman who lives with her widowed mother, Catherine Comstock, on the edge of the Limberlost. Elnora faces cold neglect from her mother, a woman who feels ruined by the death of her husband, Robert Comstock, who drowned in quicksand in the swamp. Catherine blames Elnora for his death because her husband died while she gave birth to their daughter and could not come to his rescue. The Comstocks make money by selling eggs and other farm products, but Mrs. Comstock refuses to cut down a single tree in the forest or to delve for oil as the neighbors around them are doing, even though the added income would make their lives easier.
Elnora is just beginning high school, where her unfashionable dresses add to her difficulty in blending in with the other students. She is determined to earn an education, which her mother derides as useless. Mrs. Comstock wants Elnora to remain at home and work as a drudge on their farm. Lack of money nearly derailed her continued enrollment.
Her few comforts are the fact that she knows she can excel in school, especially in math and her study of nature. Elnora succeeds in her enterprising scheme to gather and sell artifacts and moths from the Limberlost, which she can store in Freckles' box without her mother's knowledge. Elnora is smart and witty, and she loves the outdoors.
Firstly, after succeeding in high school for some years, she feels a yearning to play violin, as her father did. Margaret Sinton is able to procure for her the very same violin that Robert Comstock used to play, and Elnora becomes proficient at it. She knows that her mother hates the violin without knowing why, so she must conceal her proficiency.
Secondly, when Elnora is in her final year of high school, Wesley and Margaret insist that Catherine accompany them to the high school play. Catherine has no interest in seeing it, but Catherine is curious about the school. When she hears a violin playing, she enters the school play and discovers Elnora playing. Upon seeing Elnora playing her dead husband's violin to an enthusiastic audience, and realizing that her world has changed irrevocably, the swamp had sent back the soul of her loved dead and put it into the body of the daughter she resented.
Thirdly, a few days later, Elnora believes her mother understands the necessity for her to graduate so that she can enter college, or at least teach, either of which she would love to do. She instructs Catherine that she will need new dresses for commencement and trusts her mother to supply them. Mrs. Comstock, always antagonistically honest, presents her with an old dress. Elnora considers this an unforgivable betrayal, a sign of her mother's disregard and a lack of love for her. That night, Elnora must find a good dress elsewhere.
Fourthly, Elnora has always concealed from her mother the fact that she can earn money by selling moths. As she works through her final year of high school and hopes to go to college, she finds that there is a single moth she must collect, which will pave the way for her future. In the central conflict of the novel, Elnora sees her mother destroy that moth. When she protests, Mrs. Comstock slaps her. Elnora has always been patient, but now she screams that she hates her mother and rushes out. Mrs. Comstock, finally realizing how essential Elnora is to her stable home life, sets out that night to replace the moth. She worsens the situation, a result which Elnora hides from her. Elnora graduates and is now 19 years old. A young man, Philip Almond, arrives in town. His uncle, a doctor, advised Philip to visit Onabasha to recuperate from typhoid fever. He stays with Elnora and her mother for a summer and helps Elnora gather moths. The two gradually fall in love. However, he is already engaged to another young woman, Edith Carr, who is wealthy, spoiled, and self-centered.
Elnora, to pretend that she is not beginning to fall for Philip, helps him to write letters to Edith Carr and in every way encourages his marriage to his childhood friend. When Philip, after daily prolonged conversation and field work, discovers his romantic interest in Elnora is growing, Mrs. Comstock is the first to notice, but he assures her, "I admire her as I admire any perfect creation." Mrs. Comstock replies, "And nothing in all this world spoils the average girl so quickly and so surely."
Philip Almond is forced to return to Chicago when his father is ill and begs of Elnora a farewell kiss. She refuses him and returns to her mother, brokenhearted.
Philip and Edith have an argument at what was supposed to be their engagement party. Edith has heard Philip talk about a wonderful young lady he met in the Limberlost. She insults him terribly and calls their engagement off. Philip realizes he will never love Edith, leaves home, and proposes to Elnora. On the very afternoon he gives Elnora an engagement ring, Edith drives up with others to the Comstocks' home in an uninvited visit.
When Edith demands to speak to Elnora privately and swears that Elnora will never take Philip from her, Elnora is cool and polite. After Edith and the group, including Philip, leave, Elnora secretly takes off, leaving a note behind showing nothing of her plans and giving Edith the chance to prove that Philip would marry no one else.
Philip becomes ill with worry about Elnora. Edith's friend Hart sees Elnora with the O'Moores and convinces Edith to let him send word to Philip of Elnora's whereabouts. Hart persuades Edith to admit that she is wrong and that Philip will marry no one except Elnora. The story ends happily with a joyful reunion, and Edith, determined to change her previously less than noble disposition to something absolutely wonderful, uncharacteristic, and humble. She finds the moth that Elnora needs, carefully captures it, and brings it to her. In the end, it is implied that Edith will marry Hart, just as Philip will marry Elnora.
From the novel, what are the clues? What have we discovered about the disappearance of Jim Limber?
There is an indirect mention of people shuffling positions to try to buy up land to become wealthy from the Limberlost oil finds.
They are the ones who have little regard for the pristine environment of the swamp and those around it.
This would be very distressing for Gene Stratton Porter, the naturalist.
It's hard to imagine that a 19-year-old girl could actually make enough money selling moths to go to college. It seems like there's something more to the story that we could be missing.
Hey, we can't overlook Robert Comstock, who died in Limberlost drowning in quicksand.
Do you suppose that could have happened to Jim Limber too?
You may be onto something here.
Yes, a serious possibility. Vanished without a trace left behind.
Did he drown in the quicksand, or did he get chased by wild pumas?
Or was he pushed by the oil-grubbing greedy ones?
Hey, look over there. Who's that strange man?
Lindy! Lindy, where are you?
He's really creeping me out.
He's getting a little too close for comfort.
Have you seen my little dog? I've been looking for him everywhere, and I can't find him anywhere.
What's your dog's name, mister?
His name is Lindy.
I don't know about you guys, but I've got to get out of here.
That man is too spooky. He's like a walking dead man.
What's your name, mister?
Jim, have any of you girls seen Lindy?
I think it's time to go, girls.
The moral of the story for the money grubbing, get rich quick oil grabbers is don't mess with Mother Nature. And as for those curious girls seeking to solve an age-old mystery of the disappearance of Jim Linder, some things are better left alone in the Limberlost Swamp.